Naomi Hayes jolted awake to the harsh sound of the front door slamming shut. The bedside clock's digital display glowed 2:30 a.m. in the darkness. Heavy footsteps echoed through the entryway, followed by the rustle of fabric hitting the hardwood floor and a dull thud. Darius had returned from his company's holiday gala. Within minutes, her husband collapsed beside her, snoring, still wearing one dress sock. The overwhelming scent of whiskey mingled with an unfamiliar sweet perfume, nothing like the light, crisp fragrance Naomi favored. She wrinkled her nose and shifted toward the edge of their king-sized bed. The 30-year-old woman had long ceased being surprised by these late-night arrivals. Over the past 6 months, Darius had transformed into someone she barely recognized. Before, he would arrive home by 7 o'clock each evening. They would share dinner, watch their favorite series together, and discuss weekend plans. Now her husband stayed at the office until 9, sometimes even 11. New project, he'd explained tersely, never lifting his eyes from his phone screen. Naomi worked as a senior real estate broker for Premier Properties, a major Atlanta agency. Her days consisted of driving across the city, showcasing condos and houses, meeting with clients, and navigating complex closing documents. She loved every aspect of her job. She possessed an innate ability to connect with people, anticipate their needs, and guide them toward the right decisions. In 5 years within the profession, Naomi had built a reputation as a reliable specialist. She and Darius had met 7 years ago at a mutual friend's birthday celebration. He was charming, witty, and possessed a gift for storytelling that left everyone captivated. The life of any party, Darius had swept Naomi off her feet instantly. He worked as a marketing specialist for a small firm, dreaming of climbing the corporate ladder. A year later, they exchanged vows. 2 years after that, they purchased a 2-bedroom condo in an up-and-coming neighborhood. Naomi had invested her entire savings into the renovations, meticulously selecting every interior detail, creating a cozy nest for their future family. But children never came. At first, they postponed the conversation because of mortgage obligations. Then Darius received a promotion, becoming the associate director of marketing at Synergy Marketing Group, a large firm. "Let's wait 1 more year," he would say. "I need to solidify my position in this new role." Naomi accepted his reasoning, though anxiety grew inside her with each passing month. Naomi woke first the next morning. Darius lay sprawled across the bed, monopolizing the space. She quietly rose, slipped on her robe, and padded to the kitchen to start the coffee maker. Passing through the living room, she noticed her husband's blazer discarded on the floor. Sighing, she picked it up to hang it in the closet. That's when a set of keys tumbled from the pocket. Naomi automatically bent to retrieve them. The keychain appeared ordinary, 3 keys and a charm, but the charm made her blood run cold. A small pink plastic heart engraved with, "For my love." These weren't her keys. Her keychain hung on its designated hook beside the front door, where she'd seen it just the previous evening. Someone else's keys. In her husband's jacket pocket. Naomi's heart began hammering against her ribs. She clenched the unfamiliar keychain in her fist and glanced around. Darius's cell phone rested on the living room side table, its screen illuminating with notifications. She picked it up and unlocked it. 1 2 3 4. Her husband had never hidden the passcode from her before. What a mistake that had been on his part. On the screen glowed an unread message from an unknown number, not saved in his contacts. "Hope you already told your stupid wife you're leaving her for me. The apartment keys are in your pocket. Kisses." Naomi read the message 3 times. Every word pierced her consciousness like shards of glass. Stupid wife. Leaving her for me. Apartment keys. Strangely, she felt no pain. Instead, a chilling calm descended upon her. Naomi slowly lowered herself onto the sofa, still gripping the foreign keys. In her mind, the situation crystallized with perfect clarity. Darius had a mistress. This woman possessed such confidence in him that she'd already given him keys to her place. Moreover, she believed he was going to leave his wife. He was supposed to deliver the news today. Naomi glanced toward the bedroom where her husband snored, a 35-year-old man she'd been married to for 7 years, with whom she shared a home and a bed, into whom she'd poured her soul, with whom she'd planned her future. And he was simply going to walk away, perhaps even tonight. She stood and walked to the window. The world continued spinning, oblivious to the fact that Naomi's life was collapsing. No, it wasn't collapsing. A strange smile curved the woman's lips. She looked back at her husband's phone, then at the keys in her hand. "I'm going to throw you a welcome home party," Naomi whispered. Her fingers moved instinctively to the conversation with the unknown number. The last message had arrived at 2 a.m. Naomi began typing a reply on Darius's behalf. "I'll tell her tonight. Get the champagne ready, love. Send." The message went through with 2 quick confirmation marks. A second later, the checks turned blue, red. Naomi deleted the entire conversation, including her message and the mistress's incoming text. She returned the phone to the side table and concealed the keys in her robe pocket. The coffee maker in the kitchen began hissing. She returned to the kitchen, poured herself a cup, sat at the table, and forced herself to think calmly. In her chest burned not despair, but a sharp, calculating excitement. Naomi had always possessed the ability to calculate her moves several steps ahead. That was precisely why she excelled as a real estate broker. Now, the most complex operation of her life was unfolding before her, and she intended to win. Darius emerged from the bedroom around 10 in the morning. His face was puffy, his eyes bleary, his eyelids swollen. He shuffled to the kitchen without even offering a greeting, poured water from the pitcher, and downed it in one gulp. "My head is splitting. Get me some Advil," he mumbled, slumping into the chair across from Naomi. "I made you breakfast," she said softly, placing a plate of scrambled eggs with fresh vegetables and a cup of coffee before him. "And then the Advil." Darius looked at his wife with surprise. For the past several months, she had greeted his late returns with irritated silence, and now this care. "Thanks," he grumbled and began eating. Naomi finished her coffee, observing her husband. He ate quickly, never looking up. A nearly smudged lipstick mark was visible on his cheek. His hair was disheveled. A typical 35-year-old man after a company party. Nothing special to him. When had he first cheated? A month ago. 6 months. Perhaps this relationship had been ongoing for a year, and Naomi hadn't noticed a thing, believing in the late work hours and urgent projects. "Do you have plans for today?" she asked in a calm voice. "Got to swing by the office for a bit," Darius replied without taking his eyes off his plate. "Finish a presentation. I'll be back earlier tonight, around 8. Naomi nodded. So tonight he planned to deliver the news that he was leaving, that he was choosing someone else. "Okay, I'll be busy too," she said. "I'm showing 3 properties, then a meeting with clients about a new listing." Darius finally looked at his wife. A flicker of relief crossed his eyes. No complaints. Perfect. He finished his coffee and stood. "I'm going to shower." When the bathroom door closed, Naomi retrieved the foreign keys from her robe pocket. The small pink heart sparkled in the morning sunlight. Who was this woman? How old was she? What did she look like? Naomi picked up her phone and dialed the number of a private investigator she'd obtained 2 years ago from a client. That client had been investigating her husband's infidelity and had recommended a skilled specialist. Naomi had saved the contact without understanding why. Now she understood. Her intuition had warned her. Reliant Investigations. Marcus Jones speaking. A masculine voice answered. "Good morning. My name is Naomi Hayes. I need a consultation regarding a personal matter. Can we meet today?" "Certainly." I have time at 2 p.m. Does that work for you? Perfect. Naomi wrote down the address and set the phone down. The plan was forming in her mind on its own, precise and cold, like a surgical operation. The day passed in the usual hustle, showing properties, negotiations, signing contracts. Naomi smiled at clients, joked, and discussed transaction details. No one would have detected the hurricane raging inside her. At exactly 2 o'clock, she entered the detective agency's office. It was a modest space on the third floor of an office park with simple furniture and shelves crammed with folders. A tall man of approximately 45, with a penetrating gaze from gray eyes, came out to greet her. The silver at his temples lent him an air of authority. Marcus Jones, he introduced himself, extending his hand. Please have a seat. Naomi sat in the armchair opposite his desk. Marcus settled into his chair, clasped his hands on the desk, and looked intently at his visitor. I'm listening. I need complete information about a person, Naomi began. A woman. I only know her phone number. She dictated the number from the text message. Marcus took notes. All right. Name, workplace, address, social circle. I can discover all that within a few days. What else? I need to know everything about her relationship with my husband. How long have they been seeing each other? Where? What is he promising her? Every detail is important. Marcus nodded. He had encountered dozens of women like this, betrayed wives seeking proof of infidelity, but there was something different about this one. Too calm, too composed. May I ask why you need this information? He inquired cautiously. Please understand, the working methodology depends on your goal. Naomi looked him straight in the eyes. I want to destroy this woman's life the same way she tried to destroy mine. But I want to do it elegantly, legally, and with maximum benefit for myself. The detective's eyebrows rose. Understood. Then we'll need not only information about the mistress but also a complete dossier on your husband. Finances, properties, all his contacts and conversations. Exactly. How much time do you need? 1 week for the basic information, 2 weeks for the complete dossier with recorded conversations if necessary. I don't have 2 weeks, Naomi stated firmly. 1 week maximum. Work day and night if you have to. Money is not an issue. Marcus pondered, then nodded. All right, 1 week, but I'll need your help. We'll install an application on your husband's phone to track movements and copy conversations. Can you do that? I can. They discussed the details and signed the contract. Naomi transferred the retainer directly from the office. Leaving the detective's office, she felt a strange thrill. The game had begun, and she intended to win every chip. That evening, Darius returned around 8 as promised. Naomi greeted him with a smile and dinner. Her husband seemed tense. He attempted to speak several times but couldn't bring himself to do it. When they went to bed, Darius immediately turned his back to face the wall. Naomi lay with her eyes open, listening to his breathing. Half an hour later, he was sound asleep. She quietly rose, took his phone from the side table, and went to the living room. She installed the app Marcus had provided. The program disguised itself as a system security update. Darius wouldn't notice a thing. Then Naomi opened his messenger app and searched for the dialogue with the unknown number. Of course, Darius had written to the mistress, but the conversation had been deleted. It didn't matter. Naomi composed a new message. Sorry for the silence, sweetie. It was a tough day. Couldn't talk to my wife, but I will tomorrow for sure. Miss you. Kisses. The reply arrived within 2 minutes. I understand, my love. Don't rush it. Everything must be done properly. I'm waiting for you. I love you. Naomi smiled. Then she deleted the entire conversation and returned the phone. The plan was working perfectly. The next morning, Marcus Jones sent the first results. Naomi read the message sitting in her SUV before a showing. Target located. Chloe Jensen, 25 years old, secretary at Synergy Marketing Group, works in the same office as your husband. Rents a one-bedroom apartment on Pinewood Drive. Her parents live in another state. Never married, no children. Continuing surveillance. Secretary, 25 years old. A classic story. Boss and young employee. Naomi smiled ironically. Darius had always considered himself original, yet he'd turned out to be so predictable. She opened social media and found Chloe's page. An attractive blonde with full lips and large eyes. The photos showed numerous selfies in coffee shops, at parties, at the gym, a naive girl dreaming of a prince on a white horse. Naomi scrolled through the posts. 2 weeks ago, Chloe had uploaded a sunset photo with the caption, "Happiness is so close." A week ago, a quote about true love. The day before yesterday, an image with the phrase, "Believe in miracles and they will happen." The poor thing was already living in a fantasy world, Naomi thought. Chloe imagined the wedding, the honeymoon, a life together. And Darius was simply having fun. Or was he? Naomi paused. What if her husband had genuinely fallen in love? What if he was truly ready to abandon everything for this girl? Then the plan would need adjustment. She called Marcus. "I need all of Darius's conversations about Chloe, especially where he discusses his intentions. And I also need to tap Chloe's phone." "Tapping the phone is more complicated," the detective replied. "I need physical access." "Find a way. Offer her a promotional giveaway, a survey participation. Whatever it takes. The important thing is to install the program." "Okay. I'll try to reach her through a promotional contest. Girls that age usually accept easily." Naomi hung up and exited her SUV. Her clients were already waiting at the curb. A young couple searching for their first home. She activated her professional smile and went to meet them. The showing went excellently. The couple loved the condo and were ready to discuss terms. Naomi scheduled a meeting for the following day to sign the pre-contract. In the afternoon, a message arrived from Marcus. Program installed on target number 2's phone. Beginning information gathering. Perfect. Now Naomi would know the mistress's every move. Darius returned home around 9. He looked tired and irritable. "Problems at work?" Naomi asked solicitously, serving him pasta with sauce. "What problems?" he grumbled. "Just a tough day." They ate in silence. Naomi watched her husband nervously checking his phone, typing messages, and glancing back at the screen. After dinner, Darius retreated to his study. Naomi washed the dishes, tidied the kitchen, then sat in the living room with her tablet. The tracking app glowed on the screen. She could see all of her husband's messages in real time. He was writing to Chloe. "Sorry, sweetheart. Couldn't talk to my wife today. She was in a good mood. I didn't want to ruin it. Tomorrow for sure." Chloe's reply, "Darius, I understand it's hard for you, but we had an agreement. How much longer do I have to wait? Have a little more patience, love. Everything will work out. I promise." "Okay. I love you. Can you come see me even for a little while? I miss you." "Can't today. I'll try tomorrow during the day." Naomi read the conversation with icy calm. So her husband really intended to leave. He was simply stalling, searching for the right moment. She opened a new message and wrote on Darius's behalf after he had set his phone down and gone to bed. "You know, sweetheart, I've been thinking. How about we get away together this weekend? Take a break from all this tension. What do you say?" Then she deleted the conversation. As always, an hour later, Darius emerged from the study and went to shower. Naomi quickly grabbed his phone. Chloe's reply had already arrived. Oh yes, my love. I've dreamed of this. Let's go to the lake, rent a cabin. It will be so romantic. Naomi smiled and typed the response. Agreed. I'll organize everything, but don't tell anyone a word. Okay. It will be our secret. I'm so happy. I love you so, so much. Naomi deleted the conversation and returned the phone. The plan was becoming more intricate, but that made it even more interesting. The next day, she met with Marcus again. The detective spread a folder of photographs on the table. Here is everything I've gathered in 3 days. Your husband has been seeing Chloe Jensen for 4 months. They started in June after a corporate retreat. They meet 2 or 3 times a week, usually at her apartment. Sometimes they visit coffee shops on the other side of town where no one knows them. Naomi glanced at the photos. Darius and Chloe holding hands. Darius and Chloe kissing in a doorway. Darius and Chloe gazing into each other's eyes at a restaurant. What is he promising her? She asked. Judging by the wiretaps, he's promising marriage. He claims he'll divorce you within a month. He says the condo is in his name and that you won't get anything. He's lying, Naomi said coldly. The condo was purchased during the marriage. It's a joint asset. Furthermore, I invested more money than him in the renovations. I have all the receipts. Marcus nodded. I checked. Legally, you're right. But Chloe believes him. Moreover, she's already started planning their future together. That's what she discussed on the phone with a friend. They were talking about when she should quit her job. She wants to be free for him. She's also planning to take out a loan to renovate her apartment, preparing it for their life together. Naomi leaned back in her chair. Chloe was quitting her job and taking out a loan for a man who was simply playing with her. Obviously, he'd promised to pay for it. Or perhaps not. Maybe Darius truly wanted to leave. Naomi suspected he simply didn't know how to handle the divorce properly so he wouldn't lose money. That's why he'd lied to Chloe about the condo. I need a recording of a conversation between Darius and one of his colleagues where he tells the truth about his intentions, Naomi said. No sugarcoating, no lies. His real thoughts. I'll try. He has a friend at work, Terrence Williams. They often eat lunch together. I'll attempt to record their conversation. Perfect. And one more thing. Find out everything about Darius's finances. Accounts, deposits, loans, debts. Everything down to the last penny. Marcus took notes. That will take a few more days. You have until the end of the week, Naomi reminded him. She returned home and continued her double game. During the day, she was the perfect wife. She cooked her husband's favorite meals, smiled, and showed interest in his affairs. At night, she wrote to Chloe on Darius's behalf, feeding her expectations, driving her toward reckless actions. I want you to be completely mine, she wrote. Quit your job. Take care of yourself. I'll support us both. Chloe believed every word. By the end of the week, Chloe Jensen submitted her 2-week notice. Naomi learned this from Marcus, who continued monitoring the girl. She turned in the papers this morning, the detective reported by phone. 2 weeks' notice. She also took out a loan at the bank this afternoon. $300,000 at a 15% annual interest rate. 300,000? Naomi repeated. And she believes Darius will pay the loan? Exactly. Judging by their conversation, he promised to pay it with his next bonus. Naomi smiled ironically. Darius never gave his money away easily. Even his lawful wife had to request funds for household needs. And now this girl was taking out $300,000 to renovate a stranger's apartment that her lover had promised her. She opened the tracking app and reviewed her husband's recent messages. Indeed, he'd written to Chloe about the loan. Don't worry, sweetheart. I'll get the bonus in December, and I'll pay off your loan immediately. You're doing this for us. Naomi shook her head. Lie after lie, and the poor girl believed him. Well, enough with the pity. Chloe had chosen a relationship with a married man. She knew she was destroying another family. She'd called the lawful wife stupid. On Friday evening, Marcus sent an audio file. This is the recording of your husband's conversation with his colleague Terry, he wrote in the message. Listen carefully. I think it's exactly what you need. Naomi put on her headphones and played the recording. Cafe noise, clinking dishes, and then Darius's voice. Seriously, I'm sick of all these demands. Chloe is pressuring me. Naomi at home is complaining about wanting a baby. I just want to live peacefully. Terrence's voice, slightly mocking. But you got yourself into this. Why did you promise Chloe marriage? She made it all up herself. I just told her I love her, that I want to be with her, and she already imagined the white dress and the rings. Women always overcomplicate things. And what are you going to do? Terry asked. A pause, then Darius's voice quieter. Look, I'll have some fun with her for a little longer, and then I'll settle down. It's time to be an exemplary husband and have kids. Naomi will be 31 soon. The biological clock is ticking. She'll propose forgetting all the offenses herself. This little adventure is, well, just entertainment before a new phase of life. A last taste of freedom. So you want to stay with your wife? Darius asked. What other choice is there? We have the condo, joint assets, 7 years together. Divorce is expensive and complicated. It's easier to wait it out. Chloe will understand that I don't plan to marry her. She'll leave on her own. All of them leave when they realize the fairy tale is over. The important thing is not to make concrete promises. I'm smart. I always leave myself an out. The recording cut off. Naomi removed her headphones. Her hands trembled with rage. So both she and Chloe were mere pawns in his game. He decided to have fun and then return to family life as if nothing had happened. No, that wouldn't happen. She listened to the recording 3 more times. She copied it onto a separate USB drive. It was the trump card that would shatter all of Darius's plans. The next day, Naomi invited Marcus to a coffee shop. I need to set up a meeting, she said when they sat at a table in the back. A nice restaurant. I'll invite Chloe on Darius's behalf. I'll say he's finally decided to announce the divorce and wants to celebrate the start of a new life. She'll come, and I'll be there. Marcus pondered. Risky. She won't stay. I'll intrigue her. I'll also call Darius there, supposedly for work. I'll set up a public confrontation with witnesses. Exactly. I need witnesses for court and an audio recording of the conversation. The detective nodded. I understand. When do you plan to do this? In 3 days. Wednesday evening. Darius will think I'm at a meeting with clients until late. Agreed. I'll arrange video recording from outside. Extra evidence never hurts. Naomi smiled. The plan was becoming clearer and clearer. That same evening, she wrote to Chloe on Darius's behalf. Sweetheart, I finally mustered the courage. Wednesday evening, I'll talk to my wife and come straight to you. Let's meet at the Skyline Room restaurant at 8 p.m. I want this night to be special, the start of our new life. Wear a beautiful dress. I love you. The reply arrived within a minute. Darius, I'm so happy. I'll finally be the most beautiful for you. I love you, I love you, I love you. Naomi deleted the conversation and returned her husband's phone to the side table. Darius was sleeping, completely unaware of the trap being set. The next 2 days were spent in preparation. Naomi reserved a table at the restaurant in her name, arranged the video recording with Marcus, and checked her digital audio recorder. Everything had to be perfect. On Wednesday morning, she prepared breakfast as usual. She kissed her husband goodbye. "I'll be back late tonight," she said. "Meeting with clients about a new listing. Don't wait up for me for dinner." Darius nodded without looking up from his phone. "Good. I'll be late too," he mumbled. Naomi smiled inwardly. Of course he'd be late, just not the way he planned. During the day, she wrote to Chloe again. "Sweetheart, I'll be a little late. I'll arrive at 8:30. Don't worry. Everything is going according to plan. My wife doesn't even suspect. Soon we'll be together forever." The response was enthusiastic. "I'll be waiting, my love. I've already bought a new dress especially for tonight." Perfect. Chloe had taken the bait. Now she just needed to get Darius there. Naomi called her husband around 6 in the evening. "Darius, hi. Look, a problem came up with clients. They urgently need a consultation on a marketing campaign to sell their property. You're our marketing expert. Can you come to the Skyline room at 8:30? I'll buy you an excellent dinner as a thank you." Darius hesitated. "Naomi, I have plans tonight." "Darius, this is really important. The clients want to sell a 3-bedroom downtown. My commission will be over $200,000. Please help me. Just 1 hour." A pause, then a sigh. "Okay. I'll be there at 8:30. Thank you, sweetheart. You're the best." Naomi hung up and smiled. All the pieces on the board were set. All that remained was to start the game. The Skyline room was located on the top floor of an upscale office complex. Panoramic windows offered views of the nighttime Atlanta skyline. Soft lighting created a romantic atmosphere, an expensive, prestigious place, exactly the kind of venue to celebrate an important event. Naomi arrived first at 7:30. She wore a severe black business suit, a businesswoman, not a rival in a battle of hearts. She reserved a table near the window to have a clear view of the entire room. She sat with her back to the entrance so Chloe wouldn't see her immediately. Marcus Jones was seated at an adjoining table with a tablet. He looked like an ordinary diner, but his tablet was recording everything. Another camera was concealed in a decorative plant near their table. At exactly 8 o'clock, Chloe Jensen entered the restaurant. Naomi turned and saw her in person for the first time. A young blonde in a tight red dress, high heels, and loose flowing hair. Heavy makeup, glossy lips. The girl radiated happiness and excitement. Chloe looked around, searching for Darius. Not finding him, she approached the receptionist. "Good evening. I have a table reserved under Hayes," she said. The receptionist nodded. "Yes, of course. Please follow me." She led the girl to the table by the window, to the table where Naomi was already sitting. Chloe stopped when she saw the unknown woman. "Excuse me, there must be a mistake," she said to the receptionist, confused. "I'm waiting for a man." Naomi stood and turned to face her. Their eyes met. "There's no mistake, Chloe," Naomi said calmly. "Sit down. We need to talk." The girl's face went pale. You're Darius's wife." "Exactly. My name is Naomi Hayes. Please sit. I don't bite. Or do you want to make a scene in front of the whole restaurant?" Chloe looked around. Several diners were already watching them. She slowly sank into the chair opposite Naomi. "What do you want?" she hissed. "Where is Darius?" "Darius will arrive soon," Naomi said, glancing at her watch. "In about 20 minutes. In the meantime, you and I are going to chat." "I have nothing to talk to you about." "On the contrary, there's quite a lot to discuss. For example, how you wrote a message to my husband calling me stupid. Do you remember that?" Chloe flushed. That was. She trailed off, unable to find a justification. Or how you planned a life together with a married man. Naomi continued in an even tone. You quit your job, took out a loan to renovate a stranger's apartment, all for a man who promised to marry you. He loves me, Chloe burst out. He said himself he would divorce you. Oh, really? Naomi took her phone from her purse. Let's listen to what he tells his friends about you. She played the recording of Darius's conversation with Terry. Her husband's voice sounded clearly in the quiet restaurant. Look, I'll have some fun with her for a little longer, and then I'll settle down. It's time to be an exemplary husband and have kids. Chloe will understand that I don't plan to marry her. She'll leave on her own. This little adventure is, well, just entertainment before a new phase of life. Chloe listened, her face turning paler with every word. When the recording ended, the girl sat silent, clutching the edge of the table with both hands. This isn't true, she finally whispered. You faked the recording. Faked it. Naomi smiled ironically. Fine, then let's wait for Darius and ask him in person. By the way, there he is. She nodded toward the entrance. Darius Hayes was entering the restaurant in a business suit with a briefcase in hand. He looked around, searching for his wife. Halfway to the table, he saw Chloe. He froze instantly. His face fell. His eyes widened. Naomi, what? He started but cut himself off. Hello, Darius. Naomi greeted him sweetly. Come over. Sit down. We're having a little meeting here. Darius shot a confused look from his wife to his mistress and back again. I can explain. Of course you can. Sit down and explain to both of us. Naomi gestured to the empty chair. Darius slowly sat down. He remained silent, not knowing where to start. Darius, Chloe said in a low voice, tell her you love me. Tell her we're going to be together. Darius looked at the girl, then at his wife. Naomi watched him calmly, awaiting his response. Chloe, it's complicated, he mumbled. You have to understand. What do I have to understand? The girl's voice rose. That you lied to me? That everything you said was a lie? Several diners turned toward their table. Lower your voice, please, Darius pleaded. Let's not make a scene. And what were you going to make? Naomi asked coldly. You promised her marriage. You told her I wouldn't get anything in the divorce because the condo is in your name. You lied about your intentions. You made her quit her job and take out a loan. And all this time you were telling your friends you were just having fun before becoming an exemplary husband. Darius paled. You've been spying on me. Of course. Did you think I'd just sit back while you destroyed our family? What family? He raised his voice. You turned our home into a branch of your agency. Always working, always busy. And you decided to seek solace in your secretary's arms, Naomi retorted. A classic solution. There's nothing original to say. Chloe listened to their argument and suddenly burst into tears. Silently, without sobs, tears simply streamed down her cheeks, ruining her mascara. I was so stupid, she whispered. I believed every word. I quit my job. I took out a loan. I dreamed of a wedding, and you just used me. Darius reached out to her, but the girl recoiled. Don't touch me. Chloe, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, he began. But Naomi interrupted him. You didn't mean to? You knew perfectly well what you were doing. You promised her the world knowing you wouldn't keep any of it. You manipulated her just like you've manipulated me all these years. Naomi, enough. Darius slammed his fist on the table. What right do you have to judge me? The right of a lawful wife, she answered calmly. The wife who lived with you for 7 years, who invested all her money in our condo, who planned a future while you were seeing your mistress. Naomi took a digital audio recorder from her purse and placed it on the table. Everything you're saying right now is being recorded. This recording will be used in the divorce proceedings. I also have witnesses. She nodded toward Marcus, who was still sitting at the adjoining table. And a video recording of our conversation.